Talk and Rock Radio, where friends meet at the intersection of life, inspiration, and music. Here's your host, Rick Kern.
Welcome, everyone, to Talk and Rock Radio. Recently, a dear musician friend of mine from Ireland named Sean McGeaney turned me on to a tremendous blues artist that hails from Monaghan, Ireland. 2 times in the Blues Matters Writers Poll, she has been named Best Artist and Best Female Vocalist, and recently named by Independent Blues Awards Best Modern Roots Artist. Welcome, Grainne Duffy.
Hello. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Rick.
Well, you're welcome. You know, I usually start off these interviews with the early days. I always like to tell, the audience how music started in your life. I know you had a large family. You had a family of 7, and I thought kind of interesting, you didn't even have a TV when you were growing up. So tell me, how was the music influence? How did that start for you, at an early age?
Well, we were definitely a very large family, and we had a lot of we lived very rural Ireland, but my mother, I have to say, was quite eccentric. She didn't really like us being too involved with technology, but for our better, because we just had to learn how to play with each other, how to be a good family, and that involved us having a record player, which we often got a record every year for our birthday, which was amazing, because that meant that at Christmas we got a record. So we built up a really strong record collection, and we loved listening to music, and it meant that me and my sisters ended up forming a band together, which we like to consider like a rocked up version of the Course.
So let's talk about that. The band that you and your sisters had, what kind of music did you play?
We played mainly covers of heavy rock stuff. So we were doing covers of Free, of Fleetwood Mac, of Led Zeppelin, of who else? Like, really and truly, it was all the classic rock bands. Bad Company, maybe a bit of U2, but not so much. But it was definitely like a rock and roll kind of band.
Well, you mentioned Fleetwood Mac. I've got to tell you, my wife and Stevie Nicks went to middle school together here in El Paso.
And that is a claim to fame.
and it's kind of funny because my wife was in the choir, but she was 1 year older than Stevie. Back in those days, she was called Stephanie Nicks, and but of course they were young kids. But it's kind of funny because my wife was in the choir, and Stevie was in the B choir. So my wife and I always used to say, well, maybe because my wife had the better voice, that's why she was in the A choir and Stevie was in the B choir. That's not true.
Well, her voice was probably still forming, so maybe your wife did have a better voice.
I don't know. But well, anyway, so let's talk a little about how blues rock became your main type of music to play. What I know you were influenced by a lot of great entertainers. If you want to talk a little bit about how you chose blues and who were the influences that made it that choice.
Well, that's a good question. Like, to be honest, it took me a while to find my foot, and I love all kinds of music, and I still do. And like, my father was a big country music fan. He loved like Hank Williams, and he loved the big singers like Johnny Cash with big stories. And I love getting inside those big songs with the big stories. But really, I think it was like we were doing the covers band, and we were covering a lot of material. So I was familiar with lots of different styles, even going into like kind of punk rock in terms of, I loved the Pretenders and stuff like that. But really the turning point for me was when I heard Need Your Love So Bad by Peter Green. And I remember just being like, oh boy. I was like, that is something that was like a moment for me. I remember just being like, what is that? And even the sound on the record. And then I got just really obsessed with Peter Green. I listened to so much. And then obviously I started learning from all that he was talking about Albert King and BB King. And then looking back, going further back, and Robert Johnson and Bessie Smith and all the original blues artists that were out there. So that kind of was really where I fell in love with the blues, through Peter Green.
And I think Bonnie Raitt had a little bit of influence on you there too, didn't she?
I actually didn't really come across Bonnie for a while. And then I remember just hearing there was a Lady Sings the Blues compilation or something like that. And I remember Bonnie was on it. And I think she was singing something, not like a most popular song of Bonnie's. It was something like Sugar Mama or some song like that on it. And I remember just being like, I love the tone of her voice and the inflection and her feel. And yeah, and then I really developed a love. I think I remember one of the first songs I loved and I tried to learn was a thing called Love. I remember thought that was a great song.
Yeah.
But it's been a big influence ever since.
Not only did you learn how to love music by listening to records and influenced by so many great musicians, you also studied music. You went to NUI, right? You got a degree from NUI. Talk a little bit about that and what kind of, I know you were studying all kinds of music. So talk about that and how frustrating some of that must have been for you while you were playing guitar at the same time.
I was kind of like, I was really searching for a degree that would suit me, and I knew I wasn't classically trained, so I didn't want to go head first into a classical degree. But unfortunately, in Ireland, there were no options at the time for a contemporary music degree. So I went with Maynooth because it was well recognised, and Maynooth had a really, really well established music department. And in all honesty, I did love doing that degree, but it was 90% classical, and it was like only about 5% jazz. So we mostly studied classical and jazz music. So really my own home tuition was, as soon as college was over, I went back and started learning my pentatonics, and I was practicing lead, and I was developing my song, like really not even songwriting, more just playing around with songs. And that was really my own home tuition. But that was great, and I got the degree. And recently I just completed a PhD in blues as well, and I've written a thesis, and it's on blues. It's on the contribution of Rosetta Tharpe and Bonnie Raitt to the blues genre. So that's really, I hope that's going to be the end of my schooling, my formal education.
Your husband Paul Sherry, who also plays guitar with you in your great band, also studied music. That was at a different school though, right? Didn't he go to a different guitar?
Yeah, he went to GIT, which was the Guitar Institute in London, and he studied with some absolutely brilliant guys. Like, there was a guy in there called Dave Kilminster, who now plays with Roger Waters, and there was like Sean Baxter, is a really well recognized, like kind of more of a jazz fusion player, and like there was lots of brilliant shooters in there. So he really loved that.
That's great. The process that you go through, your creative process, Gráinne, talk a little bit about how you process your songs. How do you go about it?
Well, they kind of come not always the same. Sometimes you can have this idea that's loitering around for a while, and it takes a while to find a home. But mainly, like, myself and Paul co-write, and sometimes he's playing around with chords or a riff, and I'm like, I love that. You do something with that. Or we're just listening to a lot of records, and we kind of get a feel for the sounds that we like in those records. Or other times I'll write something on the guitar and be like, can we do something with this? Or like I'm driving in the car and a melody commits to my mind, and I'll stop and just do a voice recording of a song idea, and we'll try to develop it from there. So mainly it'll either come from like a guitar part or a vocal part.
I know you've done a lot of studio work in Italy and France. Talk a little bit about those experiences for you.
Well, I was kind of mostly I recorded a live album actually in Germany where I did the live album, but where I kind of did most Italy and France was when I was actually touring for I was touring for a while with a band that was like a more Irish traditional band. And we were asked to go to Italy and do touring, and it was something that I've never done since, but it was very interesting, and I was doing a lot of traditional music, and yeah, that was something different. But I'm glad I found my feet with what I wanted to do, and that's the blues.
I know you and your band have done a whole lot of jazz and blues festivals all over. I mean, in Africa, the UK, Canada. Talk about some of those experiences.
Oh, we have been blessed. We have done some of the best work I've ever had the chance to do in my life. Has been like in the last like 7 or 8 years. We've been to Africa, Morocco. We played brilliant Tan Jazz Festival there. We also got playing Svalbard, which is the North Pole, the last place north in the world you can live. A Dark Season Blues Festival. We've been to India. We got to play over there with Billy Gibbons. I shared the stage. They got me up to sing Going Down with him in Supersonic Blues Machine. I've got to go to Woodford Folk Festival in Australia, and I got to play in an amazing Irish lineup with Wallace Bird, Andy Irvine, Sharon Shannon. It was we've had so many great experiences. We went to Canada and we played Tremblant Blues as a Tremblant Festival there, and King Cardine, the Lighthouse Festival. So they were just absolutely brilliant. Like, we've been blessed. We get some amazing gigs, I have to say.
You've produced some amazing albums. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Your albums have been incredible. I've listened to cuts off of all of them, and I know you recently have done some work with Mark Ford of the Black Crowes, as well as W.C. Clark's Junior's rhythm section. Talk about those projects a little bit.
Yes, I've been very lucky, Mark. It kind of came about through my management, and we decided to go with Chris Goldsmith to produce, who's worked with Ben Harper and the Blind Boys of Alabama. He has won a Grammy with them, and we decided to work with him for this record. And he drafted in Mark Ford and J.J. Johnson and Elijah Ford, who's Mark's son. They play with Gary Clark Jr., and it was just amazing to get playing with those guys. And I think it was just a really good fit. Like, we just tended to understand each other musically very well, and we worked fast, and it was a really nice natural experience, and I think it brought out the best in the songs as well, which is really important.
Did they come up there to you, Gráinne, or did you go down to the States?
Oh no, I went over to San Diego. We recorded the records in Encinitas in San Diego.
I see. Very cool. I opened the show today with one of my favorite songs that you did, Sweet, Sweet Baby. And I really I love the reggae feel that you all have on that,
Yeah. That's cool. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that's actually a song that goes down really well in the set, and I'm always surprised because you're looking at kind of a rock blues crowd, and then you do a reggae and they love it, and then I'm like, see, it's nice to have that in the middle. But I am a fan of cross-pollination of styles, and I love the way Bonnie brings elements of the Zydeco rhythms and stuff into her music, and I just think it's nice sometimes to play around with a style. Obviously, try to do it as authentically as you can, but understand, like, it's just you're just dabbing your feet into those waters. But yeah, and that's a real sing-along song, and people find it like a nice, easy, feel-good song in the middle of the set.
Another one of your songs, your older songs that you did, Good Love Had to Die. That was another one. I really like the soulfulness, your soulfulness of that song. You're really, well, everybody really plays well on this song, and I really like the groove. Talk about that. What was the inspiration of that song?
again, Peter Green. I just was listening to so much Peter Green, and I mean, I don't want people to think I think it's anywhere in the league of Peter Green. I don't, but I mean, just the threads of the inspiration are in there, and it was just one of those songs that I am. You know, I just kind of wanted to write something with that kind of 3/4/6/8 blues feel, and I think it's still as like a staple in the set. It was on my first record, and I still play it. Sorry, I play it nearly at every single gig. So it goes to show, you know, it's standing the test of time. But it was one of those songs I remember being really nervous in the studio about recording the lead part because Paul is such a good guitar player, and everybody in the studio was kind of, I think, going, "Oh, there's a lot of lead playing in this, so she better cut a good take." So I think I managed to do that okay.
Rowan on drums. This is Davy Watson on bass. And John McCullough on the keyboards there. Thank you so much. We're going to do another one.
It's a great album. A great song rather. And the album is tremendous as well. Oops, I'm losing you all of a sudden. Uh-oh. Well, everyone, I don't know what happened. The connection that I had to Gráinne in Ireland seemed to have given out. I've tried numerous times to connect back with her, but it looks like either her cell phone died or the internet is not cooperating with us to Ireland today. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just play some of the songs that we were going to talk about in this interview. I've got some videos here that I want to go ahead and edit into the show so you all can enjoy the music of Grainne Duffy and her band. They're a tremendous group in Ireland, and so to finish out the show, I want to go ahead and just play the music, and then maybe we can reconnect with her and finish up the interview on another date. But for now, I want to go ahead and play these songs for you so you can enjoy her talent and her great music. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and put the clips in here and for you all to enjoy. Okay, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, take care and God bless.
You got me rocking and you don't even know. You got me, baby, heart and soul. You got me, I don't know right from wrong. You got me here just where I belong. So let me in, I wanna be part of your life. Let me in, I've stayed up all night. Let me in, don't put up a fight. Let me in. You got me tied up all in a mess. You got me, baby, you know you're the best. You got me hungry and I'm begging for more. You got me here to show me the door. So let me in, I wanna be part of your life. Let me in, I've stayed up all night. Let me in, don't put up a fight. Let me in. Let me in, I wanna be part of your life. Let me in, I've stayed up all night. Let me in, don't put up a fight. Let me in.